Greetings, class. Welcome back to another activity lesson here on phonology and grammar. Today we're going to be working on phonology. We're working on another set of explanations to try to show you what these are. So let's just run through the basic concepts again. We're going to talk about articulation points and some words and vocabulary that you're going to need to know in order to, understand what the components of the exam are going to be. Let's take a look again at these articulation points, these places where you make sounds. We again have the dentals, not the dentals, the labials, right? One lip is labial, two of them bilabials. We have that's labials, right? We have the dentals, or your teeth. That's right here, okay? We have the palatal, which is again the roof of your mouth. We have this alveolar ridge, which is the place right behind your teeth, but also not part of the palate. It's that kind of that place right in the middle. We have this place here, the velar or the velum. Okay, and that's at the back of the ridge of the hard palate that you have. And then there's the uvular, which is that little ball hangy thing that all the way back there, right? Those are the main parts that you use. Obviously, you use your tongue. You do have, again, as I said before, the pharyngeal and the larynx, but we don't use these very much to make sounds. Other than to add voice. There are some languages that actually use those. When you look at the articulation points, the places where we actually press things and move things, those we're going to need to know. We're going to need to be able to memorize what these are. They'll be on the test at some point. At each point in the airstream, at each point at which the airstream can be modified to produce a different sound is called an articulation point. So any place where we can modify the airflow. The lips I can modify at the teeth, at the alveolar ridge, at the hard palate, the velum, or the velar region, the uvula, and the glottis. Again, we're not using the pharynx, although that may be on the test. So these are all places where we can modify how the sound comes out of our mouth. You're going to be getting homework where you have to figure out where the sound is actually being made. And I hope that for most of you, you're going to now be looking in a mirror going, trying to figure out how these sounds are being made. It's a very good process for you to learn. In addition to the articulation point, there's also the manner of articulation, or the way in which the articulation is accomplished, the way in which the airflow changes. Let's read the example here. The process by which a speech sound is produced through the manipulation of various muscles in the lips, tongue, etc. Okay, these include the categories voiced and voiceless, and they are divided into the following groups. We have a stop, or as you saw in the last video, a plosive, where the air literally stops, like your P and your B. We're stopping the air and then we're letting it go. It's an explosion, right? You have fricatives, and those are when the sounds are out here and they kind of go through, like your F and V. You have your affricatives, and those are things like your Ch and J. They're similar to F and V, but they're not using the outside articulation points. They're using the inside articulation points. We have nasals. Okay, like and where the sound comes through the nose, and it's a nasal. We have glides. We have liquids like L and R. Okay, and then we have glides like Y and W. And so those are the varieties of ways in which sounds are manipulated. Okay, again, you're going to need to know the manner. You need to know the articulation points. But you're also going to need to know the manner. You're going to need to know what a stop and a fricative and an affricative is. You're going to need to know what a nasal is, right? All right. This is another system. Now, this may not be exactly the same as the the IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. I recommend you use the IPA, but this is just trying to help you. A bilabial stop. Boy, crab, right? It's a voiced bilabial stop. Now, here's a voiceless bilabial stop. The P here, pour, slap. Okay, voiced alveolar stop, right? Doc, blood, blood, right? Voiceless alveolar stop, and that's like time. And adept, adept, not the D, the T. Okay, I should use a line here, right? Let me go back here. The voiced alveolar stop is your D, right? The alveolar ridge, your D here, right? They're voiced. And then voiceless is going to be your T's. Time, right? Let's move on to the next one. Voiced velar. That's in the back, right? That's going to be your G. It's voiced. Voiced velar stop is a G, G, or bag, right? It's voiced, it's in the back, and it's a stop. We're literally stopping the air. A voiceless velar stop is going to be same place, cold, the C, or poke. Okay, it's in the back. Voiced labial dental fricative. Labial, dental, putting them together, right? And voiced. So it's going to be V, right? V, very, shove. Voiceless will be fool and laugh. You'll notice this is a digraph for this one here, for laugh. It's not just one grapheme. Voiced interdental fricative. Okay, interdental, so it's in between the teeth. Thy, they, it's voiced. The interdental fricative, right? Voiceless fricative. Now there's no voice. Thigh, bath. Okay? Voiced alveolar fricative, that's zoo, buzz. Voiceless, soup, miss. Okay, you see the difference. This is just a bunch of examples that I wanted to give you. I can continue here. Voiced palatal fricative, zh, right? It's voiced. Voiceless would be azure, mission, sh. That's the difference between the mash, right? The sh. A glottal. A voiceless glottal. Hoop. Probably the O there. Hoop. Happy. Home. Voiced alveolar palative fricative. That would be the DG. Alveolar palative fricative. Budget. Fudge. I don't know why jump is there. Jump shouldn't be there. Get rid of that one. Voiceless alveolar palatal fricative. That's going to be your ch sound. It's alveolar, it's palatal, it's right in that area, and there's no voice, and it's an A fricative. Ch. Matching. Itch. It's voiceless, right? Ch. Voice is going to be something else. Voiced bilabial nasal, right? That's supposed to be an L. My bad there. Ammonia, lame, right? It's voiced. Voiced alveolar nasal. It's going to be your N. Ant, never, nice. Velar nasal. Now that's not N. That's going to be NG, right? Song, for example. Oops. Sorry about that. You can go down and keep looking at these. Voiced alveolar lateral liquid, right? Low, call, light, list. Reflexive liquid, that's going to be an R, right? Rough, cherry, R. These are one of the more difficult ones to teach. I think I mentioned before I probably don't teach these if I would be doing this. A glide is the Y or the W, away, Y, right? It's the W. Here, the last one, the voiced palatal glide is the Y. Yes, and yo-yo, it's a glide because it goes from yeah, yes, right? So it's a glide. Minimal pairs. Here, again, is a way for you to be teaching and also learning. We have the difference between these two. They're labial. It's a labial minimal pair. Tap and tab. You can hear the difference. Tap, tab. Pat, pad. Okay? Pick, pig. Same location. One's voiced, one's not voiced. Leaf, leave. Okay? One's voiced and not voiced. In the above examples, the contrastive feature was voicing. So the main difference between those was all voiced or non-voiced, right? All those are voiced or non-voiced. And the ones below, it's a change in the sound, actually. Some, sun, sung. What we did for the bottom ones is we did a change in location. Some is bilabial. Sun is the alveolar. And then sung is velar. Same beginning things, but we changed the location. We changed the articulation point for all of these. Note, you should know that there are these three components for pronunciation. You need the physical ability to articulate the sound, right? You need to have the stress, the ability to stress an individual word or a sentence. Where do you put the question emphasis? In the word individual, where do you put the stress? Is it individual? Individual. Individual. Right? There's a different stress for these. Then there's the pitch or the music used to change this, where things are rising or falling. And this is supposed to be a 3, not a 2. Anyway, those are the 3 parts of pronunciation that you need. You need the physical ability, you need stress, and you need pitch. Big screen here just to show you the whole thing as all of this as a whole. You're not going to need to know all of these. You will need to know some of these articulation points, and you see them here, right? These you're going to need to know. You're going to need to know the manner of things. We're not, you may need to know, no, you're not going to need to know these. We're not dealing with any of these super segmentals, so you don't need to know any of this. All of this is out. Okay, we're not doing super segmentals, although it's interesting to do. You will need to know the vowels. Now that we look at this, you're going to need to know what these are. And we'll take a little bit look at that later. And these distinctive features down here, we're not going to be working. I take that back. We're going to be dealing with these two anyway. The voice or voiceless, and the aspirated or non-aspirated. Other than that, we're not playing with any of this because we don't have any time. If you do have any questions regarding this stuff, I please do recommend you go back and look at this. Also, want to let you know that you do have homework, and your homework is going to include completing these activities. They are online. So what you'll want to do is just, here's the word, and how are you going to set it up? What's the one is the right one for this? And so you just have to try to figure it out. Which one is it? Is it going to be this one? Or is it going to be this one? Or is it going to be that one? And you just go circle them up and hand them in. Hand them in to Dr. Huster if you are in the Rockland campus. You can scan them and send them to me if you want to do it that way. Or you can... if you're on the Rockland campus, you can just hand them in to me. If you're on the Manhattan campus, give them to Dr. Huster. All right. If you do have any more questions or problems, please let me know, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.